Okay, it is 4:02, and this meeting of the regularly scheduled meeting of the Friendswood Downtown Economic Development Corporation is called to order. It is Tuesday, April the 8th. We are at 4:02 as said, and the meeting is now called to order. We do have a quorum. We have Mr. Cox, Mr. Marks, Mr. McKenzie, I'll get it out in a minute, Mr. Hill, and myself, Rebecca Hillenberg, and we appreciate all those that have come to be with us. Thank you. Just to give you an update, and it's my part of the public communication, Bubba's surgery is April the 14th, and so we want to keep him in prayer. I know that may not be appropriate, and please, Karen, just slap my hand and let me go on. But we want to know that he's doing well, sounds good, and he's ready for it. So that's exciting. Public communication time. Would anyone like to address the board? Now is the time. Seeing no one pop up, we're going to move on to the approval of the minutes. And we're going to be approving the minutes of the meeting on March the 11th. Any comments or questions?
I move to approve.
Just kidding.
Go right. We've got it now. It's on the record. It's on the record, Trey, and we have a second. Okay. Thank you, Trey. And are there any comments, questions, or concerns about the minutes? Hearing none. Let's, all those in favor of approving the minutes as presented?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. As against, same sign. Thank you. The vote is 5-0. We're now going to go to the work session topics, which is to discuss the future, regarding the future of the projects that we may have outlined for us. Stephen, would you like to guide us through this, please?
Yep. Yes, ma'am. So just real briefly, we did have our work session last month and our regular meeting last month where we discussed potential projects for the FDEDC to either ponder or undertake here in the coming years. We had numerous projects that came out that could potentially be proposed and looked at, one of which we'll get to here later on in the agenda. I did want to run through real quick just some numbers and slides that we have, just so we kind of know what we're working with over the past, since the inception of the FDEDC. And so we have just two easy, real brief graphs just to show the increase in tax revenue over its inception by the fiscal year for the EDC, and then over to the right, just how much has been added to the fund over those same years, and then what percentage increase every fiscal year. You will notice there's the large jump of 57% there from 17 to 18. That is due to the inception of the group, along with the subsequent lawsuit and then the collection. And so that's the reason for the large increase. But overall, for the last 3 or 4 years, anywhere from a healthy 12, 13%, 9 and 4% over the last couple of fiscal years, with a total increase of 60% since its inception. Just for numbers now, you'll hear these again later, but as we move forward to discuss projects, we do have a current fund balance of right over $2.8 million, with $2.6 million unencumbered. One of the questions that was asked previously while we were having these discussions was when the remainder of these encumbered funds would start falling off. Realistically, most of this should be done this fiscal year, if not early next fiscal year. The lighting project should be completed shortly. And then there are some items that the KFB project and the KFB and the lighting project are the two that are that have encumbered the majority of the funds.
Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm. So just for, again, everybody's, we'll bring Scott up to date. Too bad Chris is not here. But some of the projects that have been incurred to date, Some of these you're really familiar with. Some of these you may have to dig back into the memory bank. So the lighting project that we have going on, the illumination support, so that's some of the engineering and electrical work that was taking place. The downtown improvement plan with Lauren Griffith. We did have some grant writing services, the street signage. We did have a mural participation as part of this is FDEDC sponsored projects only. We do have partnerships that we have undertaken. So we do have the sidewalks and signals project with TxDOT. We did have some credits that were applied for the AT&T burial on this side of 518, the electrical box painting, and the Stevenson Park plan. The projects and partnerships grant total is almost $5.4 million since its inception. If you don't count the TxDOT signals, you are still at about $2.5 million worth of projects that were undertook by the FDEDC.
Excellent. Excellent.
Was the KFB a partnership? I thought that was paid for 100% by FDEDC.
It is. It's just with an outside group. So that it was just that was one of the outside funding requests that were made to the board.
So wouldn't that be where Historical Society would go to?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Ms. Branson. Appreciate that note. And once again, I want to say thanks to Mr. Cox one more time about you did a lot to bring in that money from the state, and we wouldn't have had it had the presentation not gone so well, and they had remembered the effort and the plan that we had. So once again, thank you.
That's true. You're right.
And you're here. We were lucky to get it, and
I don't know that he's done another thing since then, but that was a big plus.
moving on.
Sorry.
Thanks, Trey.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. What more
If
do
you
I
haven't
need to do?
noticed, Member Hill is in the house.
I missed the last meeting.
We like it. We're glad you're here. Stephen, please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. And so the continuing on with the work session, the future projects that we had spoke about, that the board had spoke about previously, and this is not all inclusive, but these are the ones that have major importance as I wrote them down. And these are in no particular order, mind you. The street signage completion, the overhead wire relocation, some welcome signage for downtown, the improvement plan update, the sidewalk extensions off of FM 518 in the downtown district, and the one that we're going to speak about here today, the downtown holiday lighting and decorations.
Excellent. Thank you.
I do want to footnote that knowing that we do have the April 22nd workshop, many of these, basically all of these items will be presented at that workshop more in depth. Today is really more just for holiday lighting, as we have a substantial amount of information that was provided for staff to try to get some direction from the board.
Thank you.
So could I ask, at the workshop, will you have, I'm assuming that you'll have some preliminary budget or estimated budget items for those,
Yes, sir.
all of those
Yes, sir.
projects? And then we can kind of take a look at that.
Yes, sir. The goal
Prioritize.
is to have basically the same type of information that we're getting ready to get into here for the holiday lighting, at least a substantial amount of information for each of the projects to know whether it's to prioritize, whether it's low-hanging fruit, or whether it may be just out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
What time's that meeting?
2 o'clock, April 22nd.
Is it here?
It will be in City Hall upstairs.
Okay.
So just briefly, a little bit of the holiday lighting history as it's gone on for the past few years. 2019 to present, the total cost of $220,533, which averages out to a little over $36,000 a year from 2009 to the present year. We did use multiple vendors throughout some of these years, but some of the trends that we're seeing that from 2022 to present time, prices are increasing, as you can imagine. And so with some of these items, you do have fixtures that come upon their end of life, things that have to be replaced in full. And then you add to that any installation, any storage costs. Just wanted to kind of have that data point so everyone knows kind of where we're headed. So for this item today, the holiday lighting and decor project, what's being proposed is a 5-year lease. That's all inclusive from 2025 to 2029. This is the lighting, the decor install and removal, storage, and any refurbishment, replacement from damaged items over the course of that term. And this would expand the current lighting. Our normal footprint as it stands now is really just around City Hall and Stevenson Park. We do have some items, various parts of town, but they're very minimal. This would expand it down to the library area. It would also include the wreaths and fixtures on the new lighting that we have downtown.
Comments, questions, folks? You have a little packet in front of you just to give you some ideas.
Oops, got a little ahead of ourselves there, Stephen.
So are these revised, are these numbers in the packet, are they revised, or are they still the same numbers? I can't remember what, that we looked at last.
These are revised numbers based upon some of the requests that were made from board members, given the level of decor and lighting that was included. And so this has taken, has minimalized it somewhat, and then taking a kind of a different approach and provided the 3 different levels of possibilities here.
And I recall that we reduced the footprint. Originally, we were going from one end of the district to the other.
Yes, sir.
Now you said this goes to includes the library, but just goes to the library and back this way.
So one of the main cost savings after this was proposed, that the Parks Department and the consultant went out and took a look downtown, came to the conclusion that having wreaths or some type of ornament on every single light pole was a tad bit excessive. And so they cut that in half. So you'll see a significant cost savings just in that by itself, along with some different items and different fixtures throughout the park.
And you're talking about our light poles.
Yes, sir. The newly installed
Yeah, okay.
downtown light poles. This was emailed out to the board. If you have any questions, I do want to point out, because it is often a point of contention, that there is never anything but burnt orange in the downtown color palette. This consultant did a very sneaky job of sneaking in some maroon into some of these. So good job. We do have our downtown district orange color palette. And this is just an example of what they are proposing out on on some of the new light poles with a wreath and potentially for a city logo and QR code, which then the QR codes are supposed to take you back to either points of interest, either for the city of Friendswood or for history of Friendswood.
We will make sure that Bubba knows that there has been some
Yes, that
maroon
was
included.
something that I'll make sure to mention to Bubba.
How are these wreaths attached to the pole?
The current proposed is to have the brackets that are existing on the new poles themselves.
Or the banner brackets?
Yes, sir. The banner
Okay,
brackets.
okay.
If there's a substitute for that, we would have to discuss it and see where we are in our warranty on the finish on the poles.
Okay.
And then the wire would run down the pole to the plug.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So this is one of the main features or fixtures of the Christmas and the decorations is the tree in Stevenson Park. The old tree was at its end of life. It is no longer here. And so part of that cost is to have a new tree out in the middle of Stevenson, having some kind of lights and picture and photo moments around the gazebo. And these are just some of the decorations that are provided. You'll see them mentioned as descriptives in the levels of the proposal here in a second. City Hall with the oaks uplit and wreaths. And so this I'll put up on the screen for the bronze level, and as we go through it, if we want to move on to a different one, please just let me know. So most of these, they're very similar. They just kind of continue adding on top. The Parks Department, again, like was mentioned last month, the task proposed was to shoot for the moon, and that's what they did. They did come back and remove some of the, as mentioned, some of the garlands and wreaths on some of the light poles. We just got too cluttered, and that did add for a significant savings. But again, this does take us back down to the library for the bronze level. They'll have every other pole with the wreath mounts. This is the tree and the photo moments. Roof lines of City Hall and the wreaths on City Hall itself. And the bronze level, $163,141 a year, and I have those prices extrapolated out into 5 years here in a minute on a different slide. The silver, and then we have the gold levels. It takes us all the way up to $210,176 a year. One thing here is that it does include for the 5 years, the installation, the removal, the storage, the refurbishment. That is something that goes a long way that we found just as an organization, having to either take care of some of even our own Christmas decorations that we have that go out. The elements does take its toll, and so if you're looking to reuse them year over year, it does become fairly time-consuming and semi-expensive to try to put some of those back together.
Stephen, wasn't that, just from my recollection, so the 46,000, let's say, recently cost, that didn't include some city labor, correct?
Correct. And so the 46,000, give or take a year, that has been incurred, basically is Stevenson Park. Most of that does not get out of Stevenson Park. So you've seen what was called the Holiday Trail. Realistically, it was just kind of a tunnel of lights here and there and some photo moments. That was about it. And then the tree was one of the primary focal points. That's where they would have the tree lighting and then the subsequent fireworks at the end of that. This would expand it out to the library and then to the downtown poles being, kind of significant. It hasn't happened before. So that's one of the main drivers on some of the costs, is just having going kind of expanded footprint in just new ways.
And was the 46,000, was that city cost, or did that include any contributions?
So that was city cost. The Hometown Paint over the last few years has donated $10,000 for.
In addition?
In addition, yes, sir.
I know, because I know when I was on KFB, there were other sponsors as well.
Yes, sir. They weren't necessarily always for the lights. They could have been for either different photo moments, different the booths. They have like a hot chocolate booth and some of the items like that.
So would the city still install the lights that they typically do every year?
So in the way that this is proposed, is the city would not. This would just be.
So all that would go away.
All that would go away.
The trail.
All that is basically having to be either, all of that is going to go away or be revamped.
Okay.
This is just one option to get us there. And the we is FDEDC. If the FDEDC did take this over and do the lighting project for the next 5 years, the city would not, as it pertains to Stevenson Park, the library, City Hall, as this would cover that.
You just brought up an important point, that if we chose not to do this, the city would then budget for that?
This city would.
I just want some clarity on
Yes,
that.
ma'am. So the expectation would be that the city would budget. We are entering budget season, and so new lighting, a new proposal on the city side of the ledger would be proposed and put into the budget. Would it be this extravagant, and would it be anything outside of what would normally be done in Stevenson Park? I really can't say. We just don't know yet. Some of those discussions and decisions are kind of based on the direction from the board. If there's a participation from the board in doing something, or if it's a no-go, then park staff, city staff know kind of which direction they need to really start looking.
And the timeline on this, Stephen, for us to make a decision and to move forward as far as contracts and things like that, can you?
So we are in April. Everything would have to be installed in November. So the sooner the better, at least on direction from the board. If there's clarification that's needed on items to get something back in the next month or potentially 2, that's easy enough to do. But we will have to have the board's decision, and because this item is not specifically called out in the original public hearing for the public improvement plan, we would have to have a public hearing and then the subsequent council action item for approval before we could realistically get started. So we would have some legwork just in calendar days to get there before we could actually do anything.
And this will be discussed on April 22nd, if that's your choice, at the workshop.
Yes, ma'am.
So-
There is not an action item today
No.
for this. If there's any type of conversations or any type of direction that you can give to staff on what to bring back, if this is well outside of what the comfortability level is, we don't have to bring it back. If this is something that the board would just potentially like to participate in with city participation, that's something that we can discuss on the 22nd. If this is something that you want to go full bore and take it all on your own, that's fine too.
Well, and one thing, in my opinion, we need to consider is depending on what we do, we may be setting precedents. You know, if we do this for 5 years, it may be that after the 5 years, it is looked upon us. So we need to look at it from all angles as to what we want to do. No decision today, just to think about it and how best to use our funds. Ron?
So when I originally brought this up, I was only thinking of lighting the poles.
I remember that. I remember that discussion.
And so I'm trying to get my arms wrapped around the larger scope of this project. It's within our district and it's within our purview to be able to spend the money. So I don't think that's an issue, but it is different than what I had originally envisioned. And I'd just like to get the take from the rest of the board about what you're thinking about. And we can talk about it now, or you folks can think about it, and then we'll talk about it at our special meeting. But just what do you think about the expansion of that project? Does the additional scope give you any heartburn from the perspective of FDEDC? I mean, it's not like we don't have the money. But I don't know. I just need to talk about it a while, I guess, and get y'all's opinion about what you think about that, the additional scope.
Ron, I mean, we're talking 20% of our budget.
Exactly.
It's 25.
Annually.
It's 25% if you go with a big package.
Yeah. 25%
Annually.
big package, 20% little.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It is, and I don't mind it. I don't mind it being you're right. It's a lot and it's continual. So it's not like we're going to buy the lights and then we go off and spend some more money somewhere else. It's not a one-time expense. It's a recurring expense, and that's something I also didn't expect. I wasn't thinking about paying these folks $160,000 a year to hang our lights.
Yeah.
Well, and if you look at the bronze level, that's not even the downtown, it's city hall pretty much.
Ron, can
Well,
I
I
ask a
thought-
question? Go ahead.
See, it's-
I'm sorry. I
No,
thought
you go on.
Is Paul right about that? The bronze level,
So it does include the perimeter lighting on the roof line of the library, if that's what you were,
and it
what you were
and it
mentioning.
is 63 double-sided reef pole mounts too.
Correct.
63.
At the top.
And
At the
that
top.
number,
Those are the poles.
right, and that number
That's
doesn't
what I was
deviate.
missing there.
That number doesn't deviate throughout. That is
Okay.
that is the poles, the light poles downtown.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
And,
that's,
and I guess what it'd be interesting.
separated.
Yeah, what I'd be interesting to see is what's just the cost of that, and from my perspective. And I'm not against this necessarily. I'm just trying to
we're
wrap
talking.
trying to wrap my arms around it, or my head, or something here.
Well, and you know, in the past, we have done it ourselves in Friendswood. You know, we buy the stuff when our people hang it and make
Right.
it pretty, and so this is different, a whole different perspective than what I thought too. I'll be honest, Ron. And what do other cities do?
Yeah.
So this same vendor here is City of Deer Park and the City of Sugar Land, and they have a very similar setup. Now, granted, you could argue that their makeup on how they fund it is a tad bit different, just because of what they take in every year, because of much larger cities. But this is what they do as they turn it over to a vendor to take care of it.
Well, I agree with you about Sugarland. It is a much larger city. Deer Park's
Yes, sir.
essentially the same size.
Yes, sir.
Their resources might be different,
Mhm.
but they don't. I don't know that they even. I don't think they even have an EDC. So
From a city staff perspective and from a Parks and Rec perspective, the time and manpower to install, and then realistically storage is absolutely minimal, or there is not a lot of space left to store things on city property, and so whether it's putting a metal container or some type of shed or something like that, unless it is air conditioned of some sort, these things don't do well just sitting in the heat or in the elements, and they basically sit there all year in an unconditioned space before they're pulled out. Some of the items that we did own previously, they deteriorate and you end up replacing them anyway.
well, I understand the manpower issue, and particularly with something this large.
Oh yeah.
I mean, my wife is continually trying to get us to hire somebody to put the lights up every year, you know, so we don't have to do it. I'm sure all of y'all already do. We're just cheapskates, but,
No.
but, so I recognize that, and I recognize
Mr.
that.
Hill does it.
And then the storage costs are gonna be an issue. If we were to buy all of these and then you didn't have a place to store them, then we've gotta pay for storage as well. So in effect, part of this goes to paying for storage.
Yes, sir.
I'm assuming.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, go for
All
it.
right, so the silver package is about what my wife spends per year on our Christmas decorations. That's just the way she thinks that's supposed to go. That's an
Well,
exaggeration.
Jamie has good taste. Come
She
on.
does, and it
And
looks
it's
really,
great,
really
and it's
nice,
beautiful.
and there's stuff everywhere. You know, it's tax time, and the stock market's having a little trouble, so I'm a little clenched up right now. You're
I
asking
think we
me.
all
You're
are.
asking me on the wrong day, is what I'm getting at, because I got a letter from the accountant and checked my market, and I just kind of clenched up a little. Anyway, we may be able to, if we want to do something, we may be able to agree how much we'll throw at the project. But I tell you what, I'd be really hesitant to commit this board, which I may not even be on, to 25% of its budget for the next 5 years.
Me too.
Because I think there's a lot of stuff we can do. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't do something, but the city's already spending $46,000 plus their labor time. Maybe they kick in some of that amount, and we kick in some, and maybe you split it somehow, or pair it to a thing you want to do. I mean, I know we can take it on, but 20 to 25% of your budget for 5 years is a long time. With that said, I can tell you my Christmas lights make it about 3 years for whatever reason, and they got to all be replaced. So these guys are assuming a lot of trouble. I mean, to make all that stuff work every year, which they will. I mean, things happen, but
Right.
you're asking me on the wrong day.
No, maybe it's the right day, because we don't know what it's going to look like in November of next year. And this is November to January, what? Well, how long are these up?
These will be up from early November to
End of January?
Well, and I'll also say this. I mean, I'm assuming these two guys right here with the lighting, because it says lighting, I think, on their shirt, but I can't see very good. You may be able to do a deal where you started out at one level or whatever and see how you feel about it. You may be able to change the package over time and that and adjust the cost by adjusting the package too. I mean, you know what I'm saying? If you pick this bronze package and 3 years from now everything's hunky-dory and they're generating more revenue, I bet if you went over there and talked to them about upgrading to the gold package, you'd probably work it out. Am I lying?
That's another vendor, sorry.
Oh, what? All right. I was trying to make this deal for you, man. All right. But what I'm getting at is, I mean, yeah, my guess is it's negotiable. All of it's negotiable, even including on how you pay for it.
Correct, and especially if you were to up the package and a sign on for another 2 years to
Yes.
make an,
Yeah, well, they'll probably extend the duration.
You
but
think
I
they
can-
would?
I'm assure you, it's just like leasing anything.
I agree.
So, based on that, I'd still, and Stephen's already made the note to give the cost to just pay for the poles. And let's see what that looks like, and then we can decide whether that's enough or not enough.
Well,
And-
tell you what, Ron, so what you said a while ago is important. You're right. I have no idea how big this is going to get. Maybe we target what it was in your original vision, and if the city wants to throw in some of this other stuff on that side, maybe the picture booth or
Right.
whatever.
Right.
I mean, we let they decide that anyway. I guess we just propose a budget item towards that. I'm not saying this is the end all beat all, but that's what my brain's spitting out.
Yeah, yeah.
All good suggestions.
So if I heard correctly, and please correct me if I'm wrong, we'll get some numbers on just the every other pole, if that's still the idea for downtown for the decorations and lighting, and then we will do a little brainstorming on the city side to see if there's any potential for participation and see what that threshold might be, depending on maybe some of the cost for the lighting on the poles, and we can go from there.
Well, and the city can get at it completely if they want. We just pick out the package we think we want to pay for, and if they want more than that, they pay for it, and you might get there that way.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. You just picked me the wrong day to tell me to spend
No,
$200,000.
no,
That's $1
maybe
million.
you picked me
a
on the
big-
wrong day,
$1 million,
but
it's $1 million. You know how much we've done, what we can do with $1 million.
Exactly.
I mean, that's
Well,
that's
and
what
we've
my
got to
brain
weigh
said.
this against those other projects, and we don't have those costs in front of us either.
Well, and to be
That's
frank-
why the 22nd is an important day, but I appreciate you bringing this now so we can kind of see how to fold that in.
Well, they're 100% right, but it's also going to depend on what this commission going forward ends up targeting.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. What our long-range goals are and what it
Sure.
looks like for the next 5 to 10 years.
Sure.
And
I guess we're a board. We're not a commission. Are
we
we a
knew
board?
what you
We're
meant.
a
It's
board.
okay.
I figured y'all did.
Yeah, we did. So, also, KFB has been instrumental in this, and I want to make sure I say this properly, but is this their vision? Is
So KFB has provided input. A lot of this is straight from the Parks and Recreation Department.
Okay.
They are the ones that normally deal with the vendors as it pertains to lighting for city facilities and around town. So this has been in conversations with Parks and Rec and the vendors.
because bluntly, we're new at this, guys. You know, we've never talked about this until just recently. And it's a
Yeah.
great idea.
It is, and I have been resistant to incurring ongoing costs, and that's what this is. So
Yeah.
so I'm at the same place you are, Trey, about looking at how, the long-term commitment. And I don't want to say no either, but I like your idea of perhaps,
I'm not saying no.
No.
I'm saying we size right.
yeah,
We size right to what we think. Because let me tell you, I think somebody said this is going to have to go in front of a what to get it approved?
It has to have
It's
a
gotta go to
public
council.
hearing.
Okay, well, I can assure you, it won't
Yeah.
take me very long to go. You're going to spend 25% of y'all's money for the next 5 years on lighting. I mean,
For
that's
s-
going to be said by
For 3
somebody.
months.
Yeah, yes, that's what's going to be said somewhere. So maybe we pick a project like we hit the main stuff. You could add to it later.
right.
Yeah.
And I don't know, 20-25%. If we spent 20 or 25% of the city's real budget on one thing for 3 months, we'd all get fired.
Yeah.
You know you would. For lighting?
I couldn't even get 2,500 for historical society, so, you know. Good luck.
We can do something, but I don't know if we need to go whole enchilada day one.
Exactly.
Well, so
This-
yeah, so the whole enchilada was the presentation you missed.
Yeah.
La-
Oh, that
last
explains it.
month. So this is like a half an enchilada, and now we're getting it pared down to maybe about a quarter of an enchilada. We're having we're having just snacks.
We can start with snacks and add to it later.
We're on the same page.
I agree.
We're not arguing.
Well, I go back to the fact this is new to us. You know,
Right.
this wasn't, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, we were just glad to start making money. And so this is a lot of money in that perspective.
Yeah.
Well, and it wasn't on our target package. I'm not
Correct.
saying we shouldn't do it.
No, I
think
know
you
that.
need to figure out what your target package is.
And-
Cause remember when we started, my recollection was the whole project was about $10 million. Am I wrong? When we did the original plan and the whole thing, it was like $10 million, I thought.
Yeah, you're probably right. I can't remember.
Do you remember?
I don't
Anyway,
remember.
but if these guys, there's no telling what this guy's going to do. They may come up with another $5 million, and you may wish you had that $1 million.
Yep. We don't know. Okay, so this will be part of the discussion on the 22nd, but we'll also look at the cost and budget of all of those other
Right. proposed
projects, so that we will see where we hope to, go for the next several years and how we want to allocate our funds. Right
I think
now.
we're getting there.
You summarized it perfectly, but I'm going to say this. I like the reefs on the poles. I'll go for
Well-
reefs on poles.
That's what I envisioned.
I'll go with you on reefs on poles.
That's
We'll
what
start
it started
there.
And that's
Just wanted a
that's
snack,
a
not the whole
wonderful
enchilada.
recommendation. I
Start
agree.
there.
But my understanding also is the Christmas tree is kind of shot and it needs to be redone.
I'll
Is
agree
that
to a
correct?
tree.
Yes,
One
sir.
tree and reefs on poles.
Okay.
Let's get that
We'll
price.
we'll get to
Let's
that
get
on the
that
22nd.
All right.
Okay. Is that good for everybody?
What do you want?
Hey, I
But
mean,
we'll-
I'm happy.
Can we add anything?
We'll have a good
You want the
discussion.
photo booth?
Ron, do you
Yeah.
want to say one more
No,
thing?
ma'am, I'm done.
All right.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
We're going now to
Much more
reports.
possible.
If you're done, Stephen, on the proposed, on the talked about project.
Yes, ma'am.
Nothing is a project
He hopes.
yet.
There are
It's
no-
still proposed.
Yes, ma'am. That is correct.
All right. We are going to receive and discuss a report regarding the Keep Friendswood Beautiful electrical box artwork, and the little fishing person
Yes, ma'am.
is just precious.
Yep.
So just briefly for these,
so
I think
cute.
most, if not all, have seen the first one that has been completed. It is just right up the sidewalk here in front of the Chamber and the Revive Retail Center. There's other ones in various stages of preparation that you can see around town. The one here at Castlewood and FM 518 has been primed and it is ready, and I think there's a couple of others. The painting will continue as the weather permits. Luckily, we have a good stretch here. I haven't seen anyone out, and they're supposed to give me a heads up whenever they do to let everyone know so we can get fun pictures like
there he
these
Oh, how'd that happen?
as they go wander
Send
around.
the picture to you.
Well, I sent one too, and it
Precious.
didn't get put up.
I
don't know what's
apologize.
going on here.
I
Favoritism.
apologize.
Favoritism, I think.
On that note, moving on, Stephen.
Yes, ma'am. Item 5B for reports. This is for the illumination report for downtown. We are inching ever so close. Pfeiffer, they are progressing on the remaining foundations and light poles. They set, I think, 2 or 3 more in front of the Albritton site, even though it is still under construction. You may recall that previously we were going to wait until construction was complete just to make sure that no damage occurred. That project has been held up, and so Pfeiffer is slowly running out of time to install these, so they have. The bases are currently there. The poles will be up soon. We are working with one business owner right down the street. We were not able to place a pole in the location that we wanted due to some gas line intrusions. They've come back and asked us to reconsider maybe a different spot on their lot, which may involve them losing. We've determined either in losing some landscape or a parking spot. So we're going to work with them to see what can be done. We do have an ESID.
On that note, I'm sorry, Stephen, on those easements, are the majority of the easements in?
The majority
Are they
are.
done?
The majority are. We
How
have
many
two.
do we have outstanding? Two?
We have two that I'm aware of. We have two.
Any I could help you with?
One, sir. Yes.
All right.
And I can touch base with you offline here. TNMP, we do have an ESID number for electrical service. From what I've been told, that is really important, and so that's really good. We can now we have an identifier for our service, so once it's established and we're ready to go. We did confirm with TNMP that they need to run their drops from their service to the meter boxes, and so that is something that's in the queue as Pfeiffer and Sons continues to do their wire pool. Once they get energized, they can do testing and finish out the poles. I did get a call right before this meeting that the wire has been pulled from Whispering Pines to, I wrote it down just so I wouldn't forget, Clearview. From Whispering Pines to Clearview, and that will be, once it's ready to go, that should be the first section up in lit. So hopefully here really soon.
Really soon, like within a month?
Really soon, like as within a month. We continue to hound. We continue to hound TNMP. They've been very receptive as of late. I think they're tired of us at this point picking up the phone, and any other projects that we visit with them with, this always gets brought up as well. So they're ready for it to be completed as well.
Well, we appreciate the push, and if there's anything that we can do to push, please let us know.
Yes, ma'am.
And I will look specifically at Mr. Marks. Anyway. Go ahead, Stephen, I'm sorry.
No, ma'am. Item C, downtown business update. This is from the business report that was just put out. We do have some new businesses in downtown. All of these, except for two, are tenant occupancy permits, with one of them, the first and last being, the last one, APA Designs, is brand new construction over at 405 Laurel, right across the street from the old school. Coastal Roofing and Specialists, they took over 2 suites at 700 South Friendswood. The Franklin Team Inc., Lorente Law, and SBC Business Services took the bank that was there at Castlewood and FM 518 right up the street. And Fine Line Cosmetic Tattoo is in 700 South Friendswood, Suite E. So
There's a bunch more, by the way.
bunch more.
A bunch more businesses that moved in our building.
Yes, sir.
Floyd's Seafood is moving in, and I'm asking for some free shrimp. So if we get some, I'll pass those around.
Really? Where are they moving in?
Not the restaurant, their corporate office.
Oh, good for you, though. And you should ask,
I
please.
want it.
Good.
I already did. I wasn't
Wait,
kidding.
be an
I know
ethics
you're
violation.
not. 5D,
It's shrimp.
sir, is we're
Crustaceans.
looking at the financial report.
Yes, ma'am. For the financial report for March 2025, there was a beginning fund balance of just over $3 million with revenue and interest totaling $84,911. Overall expenditures for the month were just shy of $260,000. This was payments out to Pfeiffer and Sons, and then the payment to, or half payment for the KFB electrical art box project. The other there for city staff services, our normal $1,334. There's an ending fund balance for March of $2,827,297 with an unencumbered fund balance, as mentioned before, $2,601,944.
Comments, questions?
You're gonna have $3.4 million if you don't buy this time next year, if we don't find some projects we like.
And that leads in very well to the comments about April 22nd. That workshop is going to be very important. I really encourage everybody to come. Your input is
It
strategic.
took us a long time to get to $3.2 million when we started, and we're about to have that gun loaded, and you could actually do something
Yeah.
if you ID it.
Now, the workshop will not be an action item. There will be no action items that are intended to talk about projects. Now, there may be an action item that may be added if you, I mean, I think there's always something that could come up.
Yes, ma'am.
But that would be separate from the workshop part. So come prepared with your ideas, your thoughts, and
Can we do a cost sharing with the lighting at my house?
No.
I'll let people come over.
You're not in the district.
Oh,
You're not in the district.
Good job,
point.
Scott.
Good point.
job.
you
You're
didn't
not
fall
in
for it.
I like it.
Proud of you.
But,
You're close.
and Stephen, if you
Good
could
job.
get those projected costs for those projects to us well in advance so that, we have a chance to look at them,
Yes, ma'am.
prioritize, consider it in terms of a long-term budget. Because like Ron, I'm concerned about committing the board to recurring expenses. Because we won't always be on this board. And there will be new people like Scott that are here.
I think we could do reoccurring, but it means it's being a manageable number. Because we're stealing their future dollars.
That's right. That's a very good point. I mean, I can remember back when we had the $1,334 that we had to monthly pay the city, and I'm going, okay, are we gonna have that much money
Yeah.
to pay the city?
Yeah.
So, you smile, but it's true. Any other comments or questions?
Yeah, has there been any more communications with Comcast or AT&T about the line burial?
Yes, there has. We'll touch more on it on the 22nd. They've semi agreed to not put anything back up, but we don't have that confirmation
In
totally
writing
just
yet,
yet.
either.
Correct. So,
And
That's good.
but
That's
we
good.
should have. I'm pushing for an
great.
updated cost estimate for both, and we had some new information pop up for the AT&T, so we need to run some things down prior to the 22nd. So we hope to have it ready to go.
And the workshop wording of what our work session will look like, we'll let it be open enough. Karen, I'm gonna be very careful. Gonna be open enough for us to have good discussions on many topics and allow us to flow between topics, so, thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
Thank you, Scott. Second?
Second.
Thanks, Ron. Any other comments or questions? Thank you all for your time this evening. We're adjourned.